Okay. So now, one thing I want to mention is that the following things what we are going to do is to be done inside our terminal. I mean, the testing part, I would say, because GIST is a terminal based application. It would run everything inside your terminal and not in your browser. So the syntax should be a little tweaked towards the Node.js side. That I have a keyword called module.exports, right? This module.exports can either accept a single value, which could be a string, function, array, object, number, etc. Or it could accept multiple exports by accepting an object. This is where you'll put all your functions. So let me just put my func as a property name and then put my function as the value, right? So I'll just have a console log message of hi there. And now I am exporting this func function from my app.js. To get from app.js to app1.js, normally what would we do in ES6? We would just say import, and then we can name whatever variable we want. And then we'll say from, and then we'll ask our file. Yes or no? This is how we would do in ES6, that is in React. Yes or no? Yeah. So instead of this, I am going to swap it in a different way, like this. I'm going to keep it as a normal variable. It's app, and then I'll require, this syntax is very important. This is the Node.js way of doing it. And then I'm going to pass the path inside the require, like this. All right. So now if I console log my app imported and then run my file using Node and not by normal JavaScript, I'm going to run the file by Node. It's easy. All you have to do is type Node. I believe that you would have already installed Node. Otherwise, NPM wouldn't have working. So I'll just type Node followed by, just make sure that you are in your home directory, which is at day 22, and then type whatever file you are wanting to evaluate. In our case, it's app1.js. If I type it, you can see it has an object imported, and that object has a property called func, and that property is what our function is. So all I have to do is just call that object just like a normal object and then point my func. And as you can see, this function, this property func is a function. So I have to call it. So now if I save it and run it once again, you could see that I am getting hi there. Now, the reason why I'm getting undefined is because I didn't return anything in this function. That is the reason why I get undefined. But that's another case. Did you get this, guys? I would be using module.exports for exporting and then require syntax for importing, because Node.js doesn't support ES6 imports. It is on its way, but it is not there as of now. So we are gonna tweak it to make sure that our particular tests are running comfortably. Any doubts in this import exports? The syntax alone is changed, but the way of import exports still remain the same. I don't want to bloat you with GIST and all other stuff. I want you to give a specifically easy test that we all will do in our lives. Okay. So let me keep this as app.js itself, and let me keep this particular file as app.test.js. Now, this is the normal convention of keeping a test file. This is how you name a test file. Either you can name it as app.test.js or you can name it as app.spec.js, whatever you feel it is correct. And as you can see, immediately the logo of that file has changed to like a laboratory test tube along with the JS extension. It means that it's a test file. Okay. So yes, let me have some basic functions like adding, subtracting, etc., etc. So now what I'll have is, I'll just have a function of add. It takes two numbers, and then all it does is just adds the numbers. All right. Also, I will have subtract, and then let me have another set of numbers, and then let me also subtract them. Okay. I will also export them as well. And if you could remember, I am using the ES6 destructuring format, so I don't have to mention the property name as well as the value name if they both are the same. So I will cut that off just like normal reactive way. Oh, thank you for that. That could have been a valid point of testing, but yeah, you saved me, but it's fine. We are going to voluntarily come and damage these values so that we can see it. So normally what would we do in testing? Immediately, if you hear the word checking, what keyword do you remember in JavaScript? What syntax do you remember? You would use conditionals, right? That's the basic part of any check. If you want to check something, you would literally use conditionals, be it switch case, be it if else, or be it ternary operator. That doesn't matter here. So we are going to go towards that part, and then we'll slowly evolve into what our intention is. Okay, fine. So let me just create a normal if condition. But before that, I'll have two variables called let, result, and then expected. The result is what the original result of that function will be, and the expected is what I am expecting. Okay, fine. So let me just equalize the results value to whatever I have got from my app module. By the way, module in the sense this file. Let me restructure it right away, just like how we would do in React. Since I know what functions are being exported, I can simply just control space and then get all the functions here. I want both add as well as subtract. So let me restructure it like that. Now I am going to just perform the add function, pass in my desired values, which is 4 and 8, and then store it inside my result. Now, nothing is tough here. All I'm doing is just explaining what I'm doing. So you may feel it as a bit extensive, but all I'm doing is just calling the function and then storing it inside the result value. Now here comes the testing part. All I have to do is just check if result is not equal to my expected value, which is something. What would you expect in this function? What would be the expected answer? Let's just leave off the result. What would be the expected answer? 12, obviously. So I'll just keep it as 12. If result is not expected, it's not equal to the expected value, all I have to do is just throw the error, all right? I have to just throw a new error stating that the expected value is the expected value itself, but I received, let me just drop down the chat box because that was hindering my view, result, right? Is this statement understandable? I'm saying that the expected value is something, but I have received the result. So this is the basic form of a unit test. You are essentially performing a function inside, and then you are basically checking whether if that result is equal to your expected value or not. All right. So let me run this file. I'll just have node app.spec.js, and then if I run it, I don't know what happened, but it should work. Wait, let me just console log result and then check whether if it's running. Yeah, it is running, but yeah, it is being returned as well. Yeah, fine. It is valid. So else I have to use a console log statement. My bad, guys. 1 second. The test went well. All right. I just have a console log here as well. Let me now run it. And as you can see, I have the message of the test went well. Why is that? Because we have the correct logic here. We didn't mess up something or we didn't mess up anything here. But now let's say that I voluntarily really damaged because obviously we know that this is a small function and no error could have happened. But if I pass something in a tamperable manner, like let's say I tamper this function with a -3, I am voluntarily adding this value of -3. And now if I come and run it, you would see that I automatically get an error called expected value is 12, but I received 9 because I am subtracting 3 from here. Now, you might see this as a funny thing, but I'm just saying that there are possibilities in your real world code that mistakes can be hidden. That is what I'm trying to say. If your naked eye cannot grab those mistakes, testing platforms like these will easily grab them and literally tell you where exactly are you going wrong.